Hi, tomorrow is the next date that we're doing a webinar. We're doing a design training webinar, 9:30 Eastern time tomorrow. So less than 24 hours away. There's a link down below to register for the webinar if you're interested. This webinar is going to be our third edition of the design control webinar that we've taught. And Lindsay was asking me, well, maybe you ought to go back and update that video. And I took a look at it. It's almost 5 years old now. So the video that we recorded to advertise it was 5 years old. We've done another iteration of the course, I think 2 years ago, and we're doing yet another one this year. And the big reason why we need to keep on updating this is technology moves and the way people design products changes. It's a lot more complicated to design a medical device today than it was several years ago. And I'm not talking about walking and chewing gum difficult. I'm talking about trying to program a cell phone and download an app and have three kids in the back seat and make a left-hand turn across the highway. It's not something that one person can do. You need a team of people to do this. There are a ton of different standards. They're always updating the standards. The regulations are constantly changing. It takes a team. And not everybody on your team is necessarily trained on design controls, although they should be. And not everybody on your team necessarily knows all the pieces. So do they know risk management? I mean, really know it well. Are they trained on 14971, 2019? If you're like most of our clients, you have software or firmware. Well, do you know how to do a hazard analysis for software and firmware? Do you know what that standard is? That's important. Do you know what's required for human factors validation? Do you know what the latest format is that the FDA wants, or you continue to use an FDA like you have been for the last 20 years? Technology has moved. People are using different tools now. They're using different standards. There are different regulatory expectations, and you need to stay up to date. And your whole team does. So this is an opportunity. You pay once for your company, and your whole entire design team can get the training. And if somebody isn't present today, they can always watch the recording. You can download our recordings, and you get your native slide deck. So if you want to edit the slide deck and add in some details about your specific procedures and emphasize some things, then you can re-record it yourself or do a PowerPoint live for your team. And now they're going to get their own specialized design control training. So that's why we give you the native slide deck so you can customize and make it your own. But we also offer customized training if you're interested. One of the big things that we're going to be talking about tomorrow, we're going to talk a lot about design inputs and user needs. The user needs and the design inputs, a lot of times people are trying to make them linear and trying to show that there's 100% traceability between your user needs and your inputs. You're supposed to provide 100% traceability between your design inputs and user needs with the verification and validation requirements. But the user needs are supposed to be things that you validate, and the design inputs are supposed to be things that you do verification for. So one of the ways to simplify your process is you can have one document that combines user needs and inputs in the same document. And I'm going to show you how to document this really easily with a lot less work on a traceability matrix. But we're also updating the amount of detail that we provide in those design inputs because we're finding that's slowing down the design teams by not having enough detail up front. So little glimpse into what we're going to be covering tomorrow. And if you want additional training on different topics, put comments down below in this video, and I'd be happy to do additional videos, maybe a deep dive into individual parts of the design control process. I don't create an entire procedure for every single part of the design process, but I could see a value in having a short training, maybe a 45-minute webinar on each of the phases of the design. So if you're interested, please let me know down below, and we might consider that for something we develop in September. So I hope that's helpful to you, and I hope to see you tomorrow. Don't forget, link down below to register for the course. And if you know of anybody on your team or a company that you used to work before and they're doing a design project, need a little bit of training, share the link with them as well. Hope to see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.